You've been very helpful so far, Kylar.
Have I?
We've used you as a what happened last session tool.
Glad I can help with that.
Yeah, none of us can remember the
Basically,
vision.
the ship is screwed. That is the summary of what we know.
Yeah. So basically, in summary, everyone woke up while you were still getting your vision, and Lexa wanted to go to the armory and found out that the ship was on lockdown, and then called Knight Ellis, who was freaking out a little bit in her awesome voice, and then you told and showed everyone the updated vision, and then everyone was discussing what the next course of action was going to be.
Which really, when Barry puts this on YouTube, you really should watch the first couple of minutes of this. You've missed quite a bit of hilarity.
And everyone's picking on Dirk.
Yep, and I
Oh.
called Jada a scaredy cat to her face.
Seems valid. Seems valid.
Well, the question for Jana is really, do you fear death?
Yes, she does. She majorly does.
We just gotta pull the ship out of Sith space and we're good.
By tomorrow?
Hey, why not?
Yeah, okay.
Just hyperspace it out.
Well, I mean, if Han Solo could do it.
We have a Picaz. We should be able to at least halfway do it.
What if Picard just does it now? Just like all the ships going off, they're doing their mission, and all of a sudden they're in a different sector of space. Like, what the heck happened?
Doesn't he need to be the pilot seat, though?
Mm-mm.
Bam.
No?
No.
Welcome
You
back.
could
He
just
needs to be
sit
on board the ship,
He's
but I
just
think he'd need to roll higher than he can possibly roll to move a ship this big. So we
You-
need a nat 20.
yeah, you know that's when he'd roll the nat 20, though.
What,
Like-
talking about me teleporting this entire ship?
Yeah.
I was saying you could totally save this whole situation by just teleporting it away someplace else right second, and everyone would be like, "Hey,
I've
where
been
are
seriously considering that, but I'd have to roll, like you said, a nat 20.
we?" Have faith. Knowing you, that's exactly when you'd roll the nat 20 when you're trying to mess up the GM's plans.
But considering how many times I've tried to get into position to make use of it, and I've been shot down by the GM, I'm very tempted. I just don't want it to explode, to fail completely.
You don't roll on that one, because then we'll all die.
Yeah, no. Don't want to go into the sun. Or black hole. Or any of that sort of
Oh,
Or
no.
just never come back.
I mean,
And then Lexa can be like, "See, I told you all along he was the one with the problem."
no, a smart GM cripple the ship would have the ship end up crippled but in the middle of Sith space so that they don't fire on it, they capture it, and you're all of a sudden in the middle of a Sith stronghold captured. That's what a good GM would do.
You all find out, oh look, Jaina died because the ship lost hull integrity and something fell from the ceiling and slashed her throat and filled the whole room with green smoke.
Yeah, that too. That would also happen while we teleport
Well, except for
directly
the
into Sith
voice
space.
saying surrender, but other than that, yeah.
At least we tried.
And the computer system malfunctions and tries to kill everyone.
Oh no.
No,
Hello,
it's,
Dave.
It's IL-33.
Hello, Dave.
It was him all along.
Yeah.
The attempted teleportation scrambled his programming or her program. Is it? Anyway, its programming, I guess, would be better.
I can't let you do that, Dave.
Oh no.
Suddenly,
So-
Warhammer crosses into
So
Star
I haven't
Wars.
actually really missed anything, is what we're saying here.
No, you've missed a lot, just not important to the story.
Pretty much.
I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, they were also really giving Dirk a hard time.
Yes, mention
Again, yeah.
And I pointed out how it's amusing. They're giving me a hard time over stuff, and yet they're torturing Dirk like this. Poor Dirk.
NPCs are for abuse.
I mean, unless it's the Kai and she can cut your face off, and then she's not sure.
Don't worry. We all know that I'm going to force us to go there at some point.
She can try.
Yeah, seriously, I wouldn't do that.
Well, she used to be
Try
a
to cut my
boss
face off?
villain,
That'd be smart.
So
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you just have to shoot her a couple times and we're good.
That's the thing. I just have to, if she becomes a threat to the party again, she becomes a boss character, which means I naturally have to take her down. And
Well, I mean, if she doesn't attack Pakaz and Pakaz thinks she has a good reason to attack John, you suddenly have a gut boss character and Pakaz.
Yeah, that's not good.
Wait, who's the she?
Dakaya.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking you were talking about me, because I'd attack you if you attacked John.
They all fall the ball.
Oh boy, how to rip the party apart.
Hey, I was talking about I fixed everything last session, so
What'd you fix last session?
no one
Nothing.
knows except
no one
Lexa.
knows. Yeah.
Lexa knows.
last session, that would be Alexa and Ayland, unless you had.
No, something.
Private
Well,
words.
well.
No, it was just, he's talking way back, like
Oh,
first
okay.
session with John.
Oh, way back then.
Yep, there was a conversation Lexa and John had.
Okay.
See, Dakaya's reformed. It's like she's not a Sith anymore.
She's just Pakaz's Sith friend.
Yeah.
I don't think she's reformed. I think she just didn't like the.
She's a different type of Sith.
She didn't like Revan. She liked the Sith before Revan came back, so she quit. But she's not Sith in her ideals. So
Like I said,
so
different
still
type of
Sith.
And then
by that definition.
somehow we went from discussing how we're going to save the ship, and everyone started talking about Dakaya.
And how
then Lexa and
much
John are like,
it
"What?
would
Who
rip
is
the
that?"
party apart.
I hope you're prepared, because if I do try and teleport the ship and I get a natural 20, that's exactly where I'm taking it.
Well, I think he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I expect you've been preparing for it, just in case.
I just need to give Zariana her guest speaking roles.
Yeah, so if he's like, give us 10 minutes, that would be why.
By the way, John, your charisma of 10, that's actually average, so it's not bad. Not the worst, but not bad.
It's normal person charisma,
Yeah.
not heroic character charisma.
Well, I got really good stat rolls, so I didn't have a crap one to put in charisma, or I would have.
You know, it's
I
really
kinda-
funny. My charisma's 18.
Same, but
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
just
play
because you
Dell
needed
like
to use
that.
the Force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Uh,
would have put it in intelligence otherwise, but yeah.
For those
My
of us who
intelligence
are
is 17.
for those of us who are non-force users, charisma actually helps with persuasions and such, and I have a +2.
I don't know. I've actually done a pretty good job of persuading people without even using the charisma stat. So
Okay, so let's
Persuading
resume,
or ignoring
let's resume
what they
the
want.
conversation.
What was that?
Let's resume the conversation that was happening in character.
So
AKA,
we-
let's start the game again.
So we've agreed our plan is to get Ayland a meeting with Alora, yes? Or
Well,
Alora lookalike.
we've agreed on that being the first step of our plan. What after that, and after that, and after that?
Well, I don't really like planning too many steps ahead without first creating the one.
I think we should multitask. We need to get those servers clean of the Sith database.
We can't do that locked in this room.
Oh,
guess
right,
you
it's
can.
locked down. Forgot about that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's on lockdown.
New character.
Oh yeah, right before you came in, Dell suggested that one of the goals should be removing the lockdown.
In my experience, plans are usually useless, but planning is indispensable.
All right. So let's just say, let me keep this track in my own head. We get Ayland outside talking to this admiral's wife. Then the rest of us work away to bring the lockdown. Once we do that, what should we do next?
I have to mention that the surest, simplest, and fastest way to end the lockdown is to discover who they're looking for.
Which I think a lot of us suspect is the Admiral's wife. Oh yeah, the lockdown is for that.
I'm not sure that would solve many problems.
I'm just saying that it would
So,
solve the lockdown.
I'm pretty sure that as far as the characters are concerned, Ayland and Dirk and John all would legitimately think that there is an intruder on the ship and that there's a lockdown so they can find the intruder.
Ayland knows.
Oh, does Ayland know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ayland and Del know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No.
John, you actually think that there is an intruder on the ship, and the lockdown is so that they can find them.
No, actually, I kind of suspect Lexa too.
Why do you
I saw the
suspect
video,
Lexa?
so.
Well,
Did he-
because
but
he
I
was
don't
there
think-
when
he didn't see the
they had
video, though.
some of the conversations. No, but
He's-
yeah, but
he's
he
been
heard,
there for-
he felt the aftermath, and then he was upset that I wasn't telling him the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I came back to the room because gave me two little snips about this thing that happened, and they saw Lexa on the video, and I asked her about it.
Oh, you
and
heard
she
about the
ignored
video?
me.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he's been a part of the whole.
I thought
Yes.
only Lexa, Kalani, Pakaz, and Dell saw the video and everything.
No, he should. He's right to suspect me.
Okay.
Well, like you said, even if he hasn't seen it, because made an offhand remark about it when they were coming back or something. Someone made a remark.
Unless
Okay.
I came back to the room when everyone was here after I was done with in the gym. I came back from the fitness center, and then y'all came back right after me, and I asked where y'all had been, and nobody would answer me, and so I kept asking questions, and Pakaz finally came out with telling me a couple details about this security video that they had watched of Lexa standing outside of the Jedi's door and then disappearing, and then the door opening. That's what they explained to me that they had seen,
Oh, okay.
and that they
Never mind.
and there was suspicion that she had destroyed this crystal. And I asked her directly if she did it, if that was true, and she ignored the question. So I just had a tantrum and stormed out.
All right, so your character is okay. Back to being in character now that we've gone down there. Are you asking for it to come clean now?
No, I'm not. I'm just putting that out there, that if our objective, our first goal in this grand plan of ours is to get this lockdown taken care of and done away with, that's the quickest, surest way to do it. Is to have them find their guy.
Dirk, why don't you go see if they need your help outside?
What? Who am I going to help? Why would they need help?
Do I need to explain further? There's a door. Walk out it.
He walks out.
Okay, well, if we're going to go down this route, let me explain my side of things. Yes, I destroyed the crystal. Yes, I didn't really come forward with it, and I didn't really feel the need to discuss it with others. However, given the aftermath, I'm not certain that admitting to that would be helpful as of now. Unless you have some sort of plan to use me in the brig, I'm not certain that it would actually bring down the lockdown. She'll probably just assume that the rest of you are all as dangerous and conniving like me.
You said she. Do you mean the Jedi?
Yes. She seems unstable to me.
But
then
she's not
because-
running this ship. The Admiral is, presumably.
Yeah, I think we should try and meet with the Admiral to discuss it. There might be a way to convince him not to lock you up.
Before we do that, let's talk about why you decided to unilaterally go destroy that thing without talking to any of us.
Yes, the other half of the reason why.
Or finding out what it actually was.
If you have a legitimate, rational reason, maybe it could be as simple as explaining that to the Admiral. Here's why this was done. Maybe he'll understand.
Guarantee you he won't. Not if I tell him the truth, but if I phrase it in a certain way, maybe it will.
Care to share?
So you're not going to tell us why you did this.
No, I'd like to tell you, but I'm not certain that doing so will ensure it doesn't reach the Admiral's ears from certain people. Still looking at Picard. I'd like to trust you all. I feel like I have earned that, and so have you. I've risked my life for you, and several of you risked your life for me. I'd like to think we trust each other, but after some of the things that have happened recently, sometimes I wonder if it's really a free-for-all, and every man for himself.
Let me take a minute to clarify why I brought this up. I'm not suggesting that we roll over on you and turn you in. I'm just laying bare all the avenues and all possibilities for discussion. If you've got an alternative, let's hear it.
Well, I must admit I don't. This is completely out of my realm. I'm used to working on my own and targeting criminals, people who aren't very smart, and bringing them to the Republic. So no, I don't know what the navigable pathway is from here. I can only tell you why I did what I did. And the reasons for it will not make a lot of sense, but they do in my mind.
So, our objective is still to bring this lockdown to an end so that we can move freely about the ship. Does anybody else have any suggestions how we can accomplish that?
I don't think there's another way other than meeting with the Admiral. However, we can try to kind of kill a couple things with one attempt here. We go, Alon and Lexa go to see the Admiral. We can try and set up a meeting with his wife, and then discuss Lexa. And I can try and convince him with her to not lock her up, to end the lockdown, because right now they think there's some sort of Sith spy who's cloaked on this ship. And so they're looking for somebody, and they're not going to end lockdown until they find it. Meanwhile, since we know something is looming on the horizon, we should probably still check the ship to make sure there, in fact, aren't any Sith spies or anything on the ship. Picard and Kalani and John, you could all go sweep the ship to try and find anything sensing through the Force and visual scanning. And I can bring up the data to the Admiral and see if he'll switch it out. And if he won't, I'll come back to you, and Picard, you can go and try and get it off the system yourself.
I tried desperately to follow most of that, but you went so fast. What are you going to say to the Admiral or his wife to try to convince them to end the lockout? Pretty please?
I'll claim poor judgment. I'll tell them it was evil and I was afraid of it, and I decided to destroy it, and I feared the consequences for doing so, so I hid. I'll just play the dumb victim card.
There are 3 reasons why I did what I did. 1, I'm not suspicious because of what I did. True, I thought you were suspicious, and I didn't really think there might be anything dangerous about you until you started getting shifty about getting a medical examination, and then you combine that with the crystal.
Then let me clarify something for you. I am no danger to you or anyone else in this room. That I can guarantee you. And Dirk, even though he's not in the room anymore.
Okay, so now we're back to turning Lexa over.
Well, explaining her actions, but not having her be locked up. Hopefully, I'll be there to explain why I sabotaged their test that they ran for fragments. I thought that Lexa deserved a chance to explain her actions to us before we turned her over.
I don't know the Admiral personally, but I'm willing to bet that upon getting a confession, they're gonna incarcerate her immediately. Maybe not permanently, might be just temporary, but she's gonna be behind bars immediately. And then we're gonna have to get her back out somehow.
That is especially dangerous with just coming up on the horizon.
That's what I anticipate happening.
Well, we won't know until we try, right?
Well, what are you going to try?
necessary,
What are you going to say to the Admiral? How
Well,
are you going to convince him?
I might try to use my powers to influence him if it needs to be that way.
How confident are you that that will work?
Well, it may or may not work depending on his will about the matter. But that's going to be my last resort. I would prefer not to have to use my powers on an ally.
Also, if Zariana would tell us what I've been trying to find out, then we can help come up with an explanation. That sounds believable.
Yeah, Aelon and I had a conversation with her. She doesn't trust you enough because of what you did yesterday. So, give her time. We'll work through it, which is why Aelon and I are accompanying her to go see the Admiral.
I don't think the Admiral's going to accept a simple mea culpa. He's going to want a reason. He's going to want to know why you did this. That's my guess. That's what I would say. I'd tell you sorry doesn't cut it. I want to know why. If I was in his position.
I
I
was just
agree with
pointing
you.
at John.
Yeah, I just don't think there's another way to end the lockdown, and we need to get that data off of the servers.
Okay, now to the other part. You want me to walk around the ship looking for the spy?
Well, we don't know if there's anything yet. You and Pakaz and Kalani, well, they using their force senses, and you accompanying them in case they run into trouble, or just using your natural observation. We're going to look for anything suspicious on the ship. Hopefully, once the lockdown is complete, they can start sensing the ship while just in this room, but then you can narrow your search down if we get the lockdown lifted.
I think my priority should be to investigate the Admiral's wife. Especially if we get the lockdown lifted.
I do have something that can help us all. In my search for Crystal, I managed to obtain a map of the entire ship.
Gaz holds out his data pad.
Does anyone else have a data pad?
Yeah, I've got the one that the doctor lent me. It's full of medical text. I don't know if there's any room for a map of the ship on it left.
Unless you're going to keep that data pad, might not be a good idea to put illicitly obtained maps of the ship on it.
Not unless we can delete it afterwards.
Why not? It's got medical texts on it. Why would they suspect that I've got illicit maps on there? And The only reason they're going to suspect that is if we get caught doing something, and by then it's too late anyways. We're caught.
Agreed. We need every advantage we can get.
So
Abby.
because you want to go with Elon to meet the Admiral's wife,
Yes.
And Del, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go try and get Lexa out of this while still lifting the lockdown.
Okay, so Bakaz and Aeland are going to go. Well, you guys have got to get this lockdown removed first before any of us can move anywhere. So we're all sitting tight until the two of you resolve this somehow. Isn't
I
that right?
disagree. I think Elon could move about this ship without the lockdown. I've seen him get through many more. I mean, he got us here. Any more proof of his charm?
Okay, so the bottom line is for right now we're breaking up into 3 teams. There's Del and Lexa are going to go talk to the Admiral. Bakaz and Aeland are going to go talk to the Admiral's wife, and Kalani and I are searching the ship for an Imperial spy.
Yep, that sounds about right. Anybody have
Is
any?
that about the size of it?
That's my idea.
Seems to be about right.
The only thing,
Well-
because is that if they won't voluntarily wipe the servers, I'm going to need to have you try and do it yourself.
Wait a minute. I missed the part about wiping the servers. What's that?
They have the Sith data chip data on their servers, and since we have reasonable assumption that the ship's going to be attacked tomorrow, we can't let that fall into Sith hands because they're looking for it.
Do we have this data on anything else?
Yeah, because has the original copy.
Is there
And
some
the
detail in
copy
your
on his
vision?
datapad.
Is there some detail in your vision that makes you suspect the ship is going to be attacked tomorrow? I thought it was just the Jedi and the Admiral's wife.
Well, since there's a bunch of smoke and all of us seem to be involved somehow, there's going to be something on the ship. I don't know how large scale of an attack it's going to be, but they're going to be on the ship.
Do you suspect
Or-
naval combat action?
I haven't seen anything suggesting that, but I don't know.
So the removal of the data from the ship's computer, is that considered a secondary objective?
I'd consider it my primary objective, but we need to accomplish everything else first. That's the most important thing that we're doing right now, but we can't accomplish that until we either speak to the Admiral and explain things and get the lockdown lifted, or in order to either have Bakaz do it if they won't wipe the servers, so we need the lockdown lifted for that contingency plan. It would be nice if we could try and stop this attack before it happened. So that's why you and Kukulani are going to go look for anything suspicious on the ship.
Okay, one more time. Del, you and Lex are going to go talk to the Admiral while Aelan and Pakaz go look for the Admiral's wife. But Kalani and I are stuck here until the lockdown gets lifted. Is that correct?
Yes, and Kalani might be able to start trying to use the Force to try and sense anything suspicious on the ship. I tried earlier. I couldn't find anything, but I've also been quite distracted.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh.
Is Kalani really restricted here? I thought Jedi sort of stuck together. Wouldn't it be easy for you to talk to her and gain her trust? I thought you were both of the same order.
Kareth?
I don't know.
I don't know what I mean, I haven't seen any. Are we at general quarters? What's the nature of this lockdown? I mean, how free are we to move around? What are you suggesting, that Kalani just call her on the comms?
I managed to call 2 people on the comms. No one stopped me. One hung up on me. I hung up on another. I don't see why she shouldn't just be able to call her up.
Okay, so then should Kalani and I try calling Jaina and asking her if we can search the ship for this Imperial spy that we suspect is on board?
Yeah, I think
No.
having
No, I think that what you should do is call her up and say something along the lines of, hey, haven't seen another Jedi in a while, or are you worried about your death? Once you're with her face to face, then you can start proposing her things, because then you'll be outside the room. That's all I'm suggesting. Outside the room first in any way that we can, and then we worry about our other goals.
Okay. I think we've all got our jobs.
Aelund, are you good on that?
I can at least try.
What about Dirk?
Do you wish for him to follow you?
No, of course I don't.
He'd be safe enough in here, I would think.
And the advantage to having him out is he doesn't know our plans. He'll be fine. He's just a tag along anyway. We have to make sure we remember to pick him up before we leave. He may be a straggler, but he's our straggler. And I trust him more than most of those people on the ship.
Okay, is there anything else?
I think that covers everything.
Elon, you're the leader of this group. What do you say?
This is about what I figured we'd end up doing. I've been wanting to talk with the Admiral's wife for quite a while anyways. Just never had the opportunity, and now it seems to be part of the mission, so there is opportunity.
Yeah, the real question is how you guys are going to get an audience with her.
Oh,
John,
that
all
I
of a
have
sudden
no clue.
the data pad that the doctor gives you starts buzzing.
Okay, I look at it and try to see why it's buzzing.
It looks like you have like an incoming message call on it.
Okay, I answer it.
A little video screen pops up with the doctor, and he's like holding a little pad in his hand that he's looking at that you can see him looking at. And he says, John, good, you're awake. Am I interrupting anything?
No, I was just about to start reading these medical texts you sent over with me.
Yes, good. Well, I was wondering if you might agree to move from the crew quarters into the medical bay here to keep Bo company. We're lowering his doses on pain meds today, so he's in more pain today than he has been thus far. And I think he'd enjoy someone to keep his mind off of the pain.
Lex is giving you like a thumbs up.
Yeah, let me get some stuff together and I'll be on my way shortly.
Okay. I'll tell someone to send some soldiers to escort you here.
Okay.
Then he ends the call.
Well, that's one of us out of here.
Alright, so that we can talk to the Admiral alone, I think that the groups that are trying to talk to the Admiral's wife and Jaina should attempt that first, so that they're separated from him.
Oh, makes sense. And Aelon will go to one of the comm stations and see if he can't ring up, what's her name?
Emma.
That's right, Emma.
You guys, she also mentioned that Bo works for her in engineering. Should I try to pump Bo for information on her?
Can't hurt.
Tammy, just don't make it look like you're prying. Just kind of,
Casual conversation.
on the down low.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Okay, so Aelond is trying to calm Emma.
Yeah.
Okay, so the connection goes through. This is just like an audio chat, not visual chat. And she says, "This is Emma Aurelius. Who am I speaking with?"
Emma, this is Aelon Koeth. We met yesterday.
Ah, yes, so we did.
I was wondering if I could meet with you for a little bit, just to answer, just to ask a few questions and perhaps get to know you.
She laughs. Ha ha ha. Well, how does sometime maybe next week sound?
Next week would be a wee bit too long. I was kind of hoping, since I've got time, now would be fine, but
She laughs again. Well, of course you've got time. Are you the ship's head engineer? Of course not.
yeah, that's true. As well, I was just figuring we could at least figure out how in the world you look like my fiance or former fiance, and we could figure out how our lives connect that way.
Well, that does sound quite interesting, but I'm afraid I'm rather busy here.
Yeah. Dell whispers, Elon, say you bring Pakaznik and help with the engineering stuff.
Well, I do happen to have somebody with me who's fairly decent at engineering and mechanical things. I'm not bad on the computer either, so if you could use us, I would appreciate being able, or I would love to help.
Oh, that's quite a generous offer. I guess I'll have to check with my husband to see if he wants people out of the lockdown to help with that. We're trying to track down some power fluctuations in our main reactor right now.
Alright, I understand. Well, in that case, let me know when you find something out.
I will.
Power fluctuations? So this has nothing to do with yesterday.
This is a separate event. The lockdown is based on a separate event. This is interesting. That doesn't sound right. We need to get over there now.
It might be a combination of everything.
It could be. In any case, still need to
You
talk to the admiral
sabotage?
to see about getting the data wiped.
First, we have one more call to make.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi.
Okay.
User joined your channel.
Hi,
hello?
Spectus.
Hey,
Hello.
I just saw a bunch of people down here. I thought I'd stop by and say hi and see what's going on.
We are role playing.
Yep. Old school tabletop on over the internet. And we're also recording for YouTube, so.
Oh, okay. I'll shut up then.
Okay, where are we?
I believe you were unfortunately about to call Night Alice again. So is that what you want to do, Kalani?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It'll be fine. Just be cool.
Okay, so you go up to the data terminal and put in a call. It you sit there like for about a minute and then it connects. And again, this
Someone
is
remind me what I'm supposed to be doing here again.
Just offer to help her do
Jedi
whatever
bonding
she's
time.
doing, because she's obviously trying to probably help this find out what's happening on the ship and prevent her own death. So, as a fellow Jedi,
Or
you
out
know,
of
extend
character.
help.
Out of character. Remember, she did offer to like spend time with you in her Mystic Jedi room. Just be like, hey, you want to do some Jedi bonding thing like you suggested last time?
Was that before the whole visions of her death thing? Or after?
I think it was before.
that was
but
before.
I mean, Jedi are
Yeah,
supposed to stick
I'd-
together.
Yeah, I'd go with the trying to help her prevent her death, personally.
Well, that's what we're here for, to provide you options.
Yeah, it's better if she's not alone. If something is going to try and kill her. Probably the best angle.
And suddenly the call connects through. Hello, this is Knight Ellis. State your business.
Hello, this is Kalani Starfire.
Ah, yes, Knight Starfire. What can I do for you?
We seem to be in lockdown? What's going on? I thought we were going to work on figuring things out.
Well, if you recall yesterday, Dell foretold my death, and there's an unknown adversary sneaking around the ship, investigating people's quarters and destroying darkside artifacts. I would say that's rather alarming.
That's what I meant with working on stuff.
Oh, well, don't worry. We're working on it very hard right now.
Offer to help.
Isn't there something I can do to help? I feel rather useless stuck in here.
There's like a long pause. Well, I guess more Jedi couldn't really hurt the matter. Why don't you come down to the security room?
Alright then.
I'll send some guards to escort you here. She hangs up.
Well, see, that wasn't too hard.
And that's two of us out of the room.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, it looks like we've got. I'm not going to ask the Admiral if you guys would be allowed to help with engineering.
But
So I guess
Actually,
all
in
four of
regards to that,
us.
Kalen, can you
Does-
make a persuade roll for me, please?
Yeah, let me find the button.
So persuasive.
Before you give the results, I kind of have an idea of what the results would be. Just want to poll the rest of the group. Do I want to use knack for this? It has been more than a day since my last use of it, so
What's Mac do again?
reroll
wisdom
skill
reroll.
checks.
Yes.
Yeah, I would use it.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. Probably
Yeah,
be a good
thank-
idea.
Better than me sneaking out and doing it solo.
Yes.
Ah, there we go.
That was
well.
perception.
Well, yeah, so just add.
No.
Oh, no.
Just subtract 5 from that.
Yeah.
Because he's got some of this. He just has an extra +5.
Okay, so it's a
perception.
24.
Yeah, my charisma and what is it? Charisma and wisdom are the same scores, anyways.
I like that house rule. If you get a crap roll and it's the wrong thing, you get to re-roll. If you get a good roll and it's the wrong thing, you go ahead and keep it.
Makes sense.
Well, I mean, he has a skill that lets him re-roll it.
No, he's talking about like if
Yeah.
you roll the wrong thing, like, and it's
Oh.
bad, then you're like, oh, oops, I rolled the wrong thing. Let's just re-roll it because that was
Well,
the wrong thing.
Interestingly enough, the two buttons are right there next to each other.
They
Yeah.
are. It happens a lot.
I think I've done it once.
See, it's a house rule that says the GM likes you to some degree.
He wants it to work. The GM wants it maybe to possibly work.
Right.
But Kalani was going to comment after the call that she does seem rather odd.
See, I told you, I'm not crazy. The Jedi is off.
Okay, it's like there's like a knock against one of the edges of the bed that's up against the curtain, like from the outside.